Hi, my name's Ashley. Welcome back to Life Beyond Locks. I am filming a quick video right now that I have wanted to film for quite some time, but I have hesitated to hit record on because it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I think that it's a little controversial. I think that I could offend some people. And so I haven't done it because I try to keep things as light and positive on my channels as I can. You know, there's already a lot of stress and overwhelm that goes on in the world of hair loss. And since that's primarily the person I serve is the one who's struggling with hair loss, I don't want to add to that stress. But now I feel like if I don't talk about this topic, then I am potentially adding to the stress of you as a buyer of wigs when you go to a local retail shop. So before you go to a local retail shop, here are some things that I want you to consider and find out before you even set foot in the door to avoid costly mistakes, uncomfortable conversations, just in general, extra stress. Okay, so when I talk about in-person retail stores, I'm talking predominantly the problems that I've seen, and I'm getting these, by the way, you're probably wondering like, where is she coming up with this, that there are problems? I get DMs from women every day in my Instagram inbox who are looking for, they're looking for help for a whole bunch of different reasons. They either don't know where to start when it comes to wigs and toppers, or they need help styling them, or they have made a purchase that they regret in an in-person shop. And I'm seeing an increasing number of these, both in the world of synthetics and human hair. I'm not getting a lot of those messages about online shopping. And I think I know the reason why this might be the case. So when I talk about an in-person shop, I'm talking about, in particular, the problems come from two types of in-person shops. One is the retailer who sells a lot of the famous brands, synthetic and human hair, that you're used to seeing online being reviewed. John Renault, Beltress, Raquel Welch. So they're selling those brands in their shop. So you can also buy those brands online, but you can go into a store, try some pieces on, and then order through that wig shop. The second type of problem that I'm seeing is coming from a shop or a hairdresser who sells human hair pieces to clients, but they're not necessarily branded. They belong to that hairstylist or that shop. So you don't really know the origin of them. So I'm not talking about Highline Wigs or any of the other brands that you can go, they're established, they have online presence, they have online reviews, and then you can also go and try them on, or you go to one of their pop-ups or something like that. Although I still think you have to be cautious whenever you're spending money on wigs, like in general. But I'm talking more so about the first two because that's where I'm seeing the problems come in. So what has been happening, what I've been hearing in terms of messaging about the places that are selling branded pieces like Raquel Welch, John Renault, etc., is that women are placing orders, they're walking away, and then so in one case, someone recently sent me a message and she was overwhelmed because she made a purchase. It was, something like, let's say $600. She put down the money, and before the piece arrived, she started to have second thoughts because she was looking online. She realized that the piece was going to be too long for her. It was going to be too much maintenance. She wasn't aware of the maintenance required to keep a longer synthetic piece looking good. She wasn't advised of those things when she was at the shop, sitting in the chair, trying on pieces. And so she called them and she asked if it was possible to put a hold on it or to do an exchange for something else once the piece arrives in the salon. The piece hadn't even arrived yet from the company. I think it was John Renault. And she was told by the seller, so by the shop, that no refunds, no exchanges would be allowed. So when the piece comes in, it's yours. Sorry, there's nothing you can do. And though I think that that's a little crazy because the piece is not worn or anything like that, it might be within the right for the company to do that. It might legally be permitted, but the company, I feel, also has an obligation to make sure that someone feels very comfortable with the purchase that they're making before that they make it, that they know what it means to have to upkeep a heat-friendly synthetic, especially a longer one, that she doesn't feel the pressure to go ahead and make that purchase. By the way, I'm going to get to my tips of like what you need to consider before you go in after I'm done my little story time sharing. So this is what happened to her, and the piece still hasn't come in at the time of my filming this, but she's a little bit nervous about it, and understandably so, because she felt pressure in the moment to make a purchase and now is feeling like she might have made the wrong purchase. She's not sure. So that was one story that really resonated with me. And again, I'm getting a lot of these, but the other kind of story is someone, actually I have another one similar with a branded one. Someone I was just talking to this morning, she got a human hair piece from a popular company. So she purchased it at a local wig shop. It was $1,500 human hair topper. And she based her color choice off of a very small color ring, you know, made the purchase. And then when it came in, it was like too dark. It wasn't at all right for her. And now there's no returns, no refunds, no exchanges. And she's stuck with this piece. So that's that. The other type of story that I've heard several times now is somebody goes to their hairdresser, their salon, or their salon, you know, outsources, but whatever. They end up getting a piece, a human hair wig, or in most cases, it's been a topper. And when that piece comes in, they pay a really big fee for it. So we're talking, you know, a couple $1,000s for a topper that in the end, once they're showing me pictures and videos of it, it's not a $2,000 topper. But they're paying big prices for it. So they're being charged a luxury price for a non-luxury human hair topper. And after they wash it, it's not manageable. They're told that it's one type of hair and it's probably not. It loses color really quickly. There might be ventilation issues if it's a hand-tied piece, but they don't know this, right? Because they're new to buying alternative hair. They're new to wearing toppers. And so they're putting their trust in their trusted stylist to make decisions for them. And then it's only after they start wearing the piece that they realize that they've been sold an inferior quality product. Okay, so I've just done a whole bunch of fear mongering, and that's not my intention here. But these stories, these are just a couple of very specific stories. Like the last one, I haven't had any messages like that in the last couple of weeks, but that was the most recent one, was a few weeks ago. That's what happened. Somebody ordered it from her salon. Her hairdresser magically got this topper, had some other toppers on hand. It went horribly wrong after like one wash. It lost the color, it just all kinds of things. It wasn't manageable. It was like in a huge clump of knots. And then she took it back. The hairdresser said, this is the crazy part of the story. The hairdresser took it back and said that they would fix it up for her. When she went back to pick up the fixed topper, she realized it was a completely different topper. Because she saw hers, they lied to her. They said that they fixed hers up, but then she saw hers like sitting somewhere in the salon, and she realized that they lied. They gave her a new topper to try to make things better, and it ended up being the same issue all over again because it was the same type of topper from the first sale. Okay, so what happens there? Well, in that case, we're looking at a salon that is sourcing from a vendor somewhere. Maybe they're just getting whatever vendor in China. Maybe the salon does know that they're selling a poor quality product and they're marking it right up. Maybe the salon doesn't have a lot of experience with alternative hair, and so they're getting a product that they think is just like fine. Maybe they don't know anything about alternative hair and understand cap construction or hair quality, hair type, that type of thing. And so then they're buying these pieces from a vendor, charging a markup and thinking that's fine because they're not in the industry and they don't know what you should be paying for a piece of that quality. So that could be happening, or it could be that they're deliberately trying to get money out of this girl wrongly. I'm not sure. In any case, these are dangers that you face, not just when you're shopping online, but when you're going in person. And I might argue that in some ways it is more stressful to shop in person because there is the pressure of buying in the spot. You know that when you're sitting in the chair, you are spending somebody's precious time. They're wasting their time on you, or maybe not wasting, but they're giving you their time. And so then you feel an obligation to buy. But when you're perusing an online shop's page, you're binging their content, you're looking at reviews, none of that requires them to be sitting with you. And so you have time on your side to be able to make the decision that is best for you. Okay, so what do? Here are some of the things that I think you need to consider before you even walk into the store. So you call, you're trying to make an appointment. please call and make an appointment. If you just walk in, I feel like you might still have this issue because you're gonna be caught off guard and potentially pressured. So one thing that I think that you need to check right away is the return policy. And this is true when you're shopping online, but it's also true when you're shopping in store. I think sometimes we think because we're shopping in store that we have more freedom and flexibility, like we've made a connection with those people. Of course, they're gonna let me return it if something goes wrong, but I don't think that that always ends up being the case. So just like with an online purchase, you wanna know how many days do you have to return the piece? Is that also true with this in-person store? Because every online store that I know accepts returns when it comes to wigs and toppers, human hair or synthetic. I have yet, now maybe if you know of a store that doesn't accept returns and you feel like sending me a DM on Instagram, because I would prefer it to be private. I don't want to out any stores in the comments right now, but that would be good for me to know. But as far as I know, every shop that I've ever dealt with has a return policy of some kind posted online. The same should be true for an in-person store. So you want to be checking what is their return policy. So do you get a chance to see the piece, to try it on when it arrives, and then decide, you know what, this isn't for me, I'm going to leave it at the store, and then they have to deal with it. If not, it's at least, even if you decide that that doesn't matter to you, it's good to have that piece of information that before you're spending your money, before you're making your purchase, this is a piece that I have to keep, I can't return it. Number two, and well, there's really like 2 and 3 kind of go together. Is there a consultation fee? And if not, is their pricing reflecting the fact that there's no consultation fee? People need to make money and they need to be compensated for their time, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if it's a wig shop owner and they're sitting you down in their chair and they're giving you 30 minutes or an hour or however long it is of their time to show you different pieces, to explain cap construction, to go over those things with you, there probably is going to be a consultation fee. Sometimes that consultation fee will be its own fee and then you still pay for the product. Sometimes there will be a consultation fee where they will give you back that fee if you make a purchase. And sometimes there's no consultation fee, but I suspect they're going to charge you more for the pieces because somehow they're going to try to get their time. They're not just doing this out of the goodness of their hearts, typically. Personally, if I were to be doing all of this all over again and I was going in person to try on a piece, I think that I would prefer to pay a consultation fee that I can just then walk away from and make my decision about purchasing later. So I would much be happier, I think, and I would suggest to you, even if they don't offer this, ask them if this is a possibility for you. I would be most comfortable paying someone $50, $80, whatever the fee is for me to sit down and try on as many different pieces as I want, ask as many questions as I want in the allotted time, and then be able to walk away with maybe a list of the different pieces that I liked, why I liked them, maybe some photos of me in them, and then go back to make my purchases later. Now, it's most likely that I'm still going to buy from that shop because I would feel loyal to them for the time, energy, whatever that they put in me. So it's not likely that I would walk away and then try to bargain and find a better price somewhere else. But if you decide to do that, at least they've gotten their money from you for the time, and then you have the freedom to be able to walk away. So I would be asking about that. Is there a consultation fee? If so, can it be put into the purchase of the wig? And if not, take a look at their pricing and then compare their pricing with the online pricing. If their pricing is for a wig is $700, but you can get that same wig for $600 online, well, then that kind of answers your question. The consultation fee is basically worked into the price of the piece. And to be fair, these in-person shops, like they have to pay rent, they might have to pay staff, they have higher costs than an online retailer. So it makes sense that their pieces would cost a little bit more money. And if in turn you're getting to touch it and feel it and try it on first, then that might be fair. But it's not fair if they are overcharging you for the pieces and then not letting you return it, and they're bullying you into make a purchasing decision on the spot. That's very stressful. So number one, we're going to try and find out what is the return policy. Number two, we're going to find out about consultation fees, and we're going to take a look into what their pricing is. We don't want it should be very clear. There should be no like shadiness going on when it comes to finding out what are they going to charge you for this piece. And then I would also want to know what is the product lineup that they have available. So if I'm going in to sit down to try on pieces, I want to know, like, Do they just have little color rings, or do they actually have, if I know that, you know, I might be interested in trying some John Renaults or some belle tresses or some Rene of Paris or whatever it is, do they have a range of pieces from those different shops, and am I able to try them on? Because if they only have a handful of wigs, and it's going to leave you wanting more, then going in there might not be worth it for you. And then you might be, you know, encouraged to buy something, but you can't actually see what that color is. So you're like, I love this style, but what other colors are offered? And there's only like a tiny little piece. It would be nice if, you know, they have the full color lineup, maybe in a range of different cap constructions or styles or whatever, so that you can try on different pieces and see what works best for you. It's hard to imagine what a, you know, lace top feels like versus a hand-tied back versus a wefted back versus human hair versus synthetic without being able to touch them and feel them and try them on. So if you aren't getting those opportunities, then I question what would be the point of going in person. You're probably better off just spending the time looking online and figuring those things out for yourself without the pressure to buy sort of looming over you. Okay, the final suggestion that I have for you is that you bring a friend. Now this can be very tricky, especially if you're new to alternative hair. If you're just experiencing hair loss, you might not be out about it with everybody. And I can understand that you might not want to be out about it with anybody. But I do think bringing your toughest negotiator of a bossy friend whom you can trust is really important. I think having someone there who, and it could be your partner, by the way, it doesn't need to be a friend, it could be a spouse, it could be your kid, it could be your mom, but having someone there who has your best intentions at heart and who is not afraid to stand up for you, I think is really important, because when you are losing your hair, when you are looking at trying on wigs and toppers for the first time, you are in a vulnerable space. Like that's not easy to deal with. It's going to feel foreign to you. I mean, now wigs feel great. They feel like awesome. I love them. But at the beginning, it feels weird. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It might feel itchy. It might just feel overwhelming to you. And when you look in the mirror, it's going to feel weird because you're used to seeing yourself looking one way every day. And now all of a sudden you're going to have a full head of hair, potentially in a different color, a different style than you're used to. You need that trusted friend to say, hey, if the person at the store, and by the way, you might find some great stuff in the stores. So I'm not trying to suggest that they're all bad. I'm not trying to suggest that at all. I'm just trying to protect you. But it's helpful if you have your person there who can put some distance between you and the person who's selling if necessary, or who can say to you like, hey, do you want a little bit more time? How are you feeling? Or what about this piece? This might really work for you. Like they can be your eyes and ears and your moral support. So definitely suggest bringing somebody along, probably just somebody, maybe two somebodies. I wouldn't bring a whole crew. That can also be overwhelming. People have different opinions about what looks good on you. And a lot of different people might have your best interests at heart, but it's kind of like going wedding dress shopping or shopping for anything that's kind of like a big moment of importance. That's not a word, but a moment that is really of significance to you. Sometimes having too many cooks in the kitchen can be a bit challenging. So just bring one or two people whom you really trust, who will be honest with you, but who will also give you time and space and support you in taking that time and having that space. Finally, I would like you to bring your phone with you. Obviously, you're going to bring your phone with you, but bring it charged. Make sure you have room on your phone for photos, because I want you to take still photos, but I also want you to take, more importantly, videos. And you need to ask the shop in advance, is that going to be okay? Am I allowed to take photos and videos of myself in the pieces so that I get a better sense of what looks good on me? I just went to buy glasses recently, just a couple of weeks ago, and I showed some of my followers on Instagram stories the different glasses that I was considering, and I asked for their feedback. I actually genuinely wanted their feedback. Now, obviously, I'm not going to, like, what I'm kind of leaning towards may not be what they're telling me is looking best, but I actually wanted their objective opinions because, well, if they're following me, they obviously have good taste in wigs, right? No. And then glasses by extension. I'm kidding. But I know that the people who hang out in my stories, who talk to me in DMs, the people I have conversations with, we're kind of similarly minded, right? There's a reason that they're watching my videos. because we obviously either have similar styles or we have similar complexions or there's something there that's similar. And so I wanted their opinions. I wanted to know what they thought. You need to have but also looking back on those videos and pictures of myself was helpful in helping me make a decision about what glasses would I want, because I've been so long without glasses, even though I should be wearing them, that I needed some time to go back and look and go, oh yeah, objectively now, like not in the moment when I'm feeling the pressure from the people looking at me, wondering if I'm going to make a purchase today. Now I can see that this is the pair that I think looks best. And this is also the pair that they think looks best. So that's cool. I've had time to think about it. So ask if you can bring in a camera, ask if that's okay, so that you can go back and look when you're not feeling all the adrenaline rushing through you, when you're not feeling all the stress. But later on at night, you can sit down with a cup of tea or whatever you like to drink and look through the photos and videos and then make a decision that is best for you. So hopefully this was helpful for you. I hope if you have any other questions or any other suggestions, if you've been through this process yourself of in-person shopping for wigs and toppers and you have a suggestion that I forgot, please leave it in the comments below. It will definitely help somebody else out. I hope that I haven't scared you from going into an in-person shop. I think that the fact that they exist can be of great help for those who really want to see and try on wigs and avoid wasting money. You just need to be careful when you're there to make sure that you don't actually end up wasting money. I'm sure that most of the women and staff who work in these places, who own these places, actually have good intentions. They wouldn't be in the world of alternative hair if they didn't, but we also just need to make sure that regardless, we are comfortable and that we have the time and space that we need. So there you go. Take a look at the return policies, go with a friend, make sure to take pictures and videos, find out about the consultation fees and their pricing, and find out what type of product lineup they have before you go in. You don't want to be going there for synthetic if they only have human hair. You don't want to be going for human hair if they only have synthetic. You need to know if they have the different types of cap constructions and brands that you're interested in, and then you can go in with confidence knowing that you're going to be able to find your ideal piece. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for hanging out.